Hello everyone, it's Darth here, and today we're going to be taking a look at everything new that was hinted that you may have not noticed at first glance in the new TDU Dev Diary. But before we get into this though, make sure you guys subscribe for more content like this, and also some other content as well. So let's get right into this, shall we? Alright guys, so the first thing that we will be discussing from the Test Drive Limited Solo Crown Dev Diary is the vehicles and the vehicle brand. Now a little note before this, I'm not going to be discussing some cars that were unveiled before the Dev Diary, which means the DBS Super Legra, which was already mentioned a bit earlier with the graphical update. I'm not going to include that in here. So without further ado guys, let's get right into this. Alright guys, so the first thing that you will immediately notice in most of the interviews is that there are actually two bikes in the background of the video, which are here and here. Now I'm not sure entirely what brand of bikes these are, but if you're a bike expert, like if you know how to identify these, let me know in the comments section down below. But what we do know is that these are going to be planned for year 3, as you can see on the year 2 roadmap. It says it's a long-term plan along with yachts as well, which was also a cut feature from Test Drive Unlimited 2, interestingly. So it really feels great to have the devs revisit that after so many years. And speaking of revisiting, we will finally be getting Pagani in Season 6, which I've been waiting for this since the debut of this game, and I'm really excited to get my hands on a Pagani. That Pagani you may be asking for is the Pagani Huayra Roadster, which is supposed to come in a few different color options, as you can see right here. Oh, and one more thing, there's also a McLaren Senna model in the background, which should hint that the car is going to be modeled for either Season 5, 6, or 7. Anyway, let's go into some more Italian cars that were teased at for the future of this game, with the first one being the Di Tommaso's B72, which was teased for Season 5. Another car, which is from TDU2, is the Ferrari 458 Italia, which will most likely not be in Season 5, but rather Season 6 or 7. Now let's talk about JDM cars, which there are two brands that are coming to TDUSC, with the first one being Mazda and the second one being Mitsubishi, which may not seem that great, but keep in mind that both of these were licensed in V-Rally 4. Another thing with those two brands is that they were both cut from Test Drive Unlimited 1, and Mazda was also cut from Test Drive Unlimited 2, which it's very interesting to see KT Racing and Nikon kind of revisit those from old Test Drive Unlimited games. Out of both of these brands, personally, I think that the Mitsubishi Eclipse, the Lancer Evo, a street version of the Pajero Evolution, the RX-7, the Miata, and the RX-8 are definitely likely cars from both of these brands. The developers had also said that there will be more brands coming soon, which will be announced later in TDUSC. Out of these, the most likely ones that are unannounced that I think will come soon are Hummer, Renault, Honda, Opel, Skoda, Suzuki, Hyundai, Peugeot, Subaru, and Toyota, simply because these were licensed in many past Kiloton or KT Racing games. Now with that being said, let's move on to some other things, shall we? Now what if I told you that those car brands weren't the only brands coming to Test Drive Solo Crown in the next year? These include Puma, which is a clothing brand, and Michelin, which is a tire brand, and I think you can guess how we are getting these brands. For Puma, it would be clothes and shoes, and as for Michelin, I think we might be able to see it as a sponsor for the racing center, as well as for potential tire customization, which is not yet in TDUSC, which I think would be very, very cool. Anyways, I'm going to wrap it up here with the last two things I'm going to talk about. The first one being the houses, which the devs gave hints on where they are. Well, specifically this one is on the northern coast of Hong Kong Island. The last thing that the devs did is that they teased us with the new walkable clothing stores in Ibiza, which aren't just a UI menu anymore. Anyways, that wraps it up for today's video. Let me know if I missed anything else, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.